Hello, beautiful souls, and thanks so much for tuning in. My name is Luca, AM Astar, and welcome to 𝑓. So, today we're going to be channeling messages from Sekhmet. And Sekhmet is a very, very powerful deity. And she has been supporting me in my healing process throughout the last few years. And Sekhmet is a deity that is very, very multifaceted, and she can embody many different energies. But basically, it's the divine feminine energy that is showing up in different forms. That's why Isis, as well as Hathor and Sekhmet, all of these deities, they are divine feminine energy. But it depends on how this energy is unfolding, or how this energy is, there are different attributes to the energies of the divine feminine. And in this reading specifically, I was guided to tune into the energy of Sekhmet, and so you can learn more about her or connect with her, or understanding when to invoke her energy, in which situations to invoke the energy of Sekhmet. And some people have been writing in the comments that my readings should be like that there are messages in all piles for everyone, and that's true. All of my readings are, let's say, general readings, or it's less a specific situation that I'm channeling, but it's more so general guidance. So obviously there is a message for everyone in each piles. So the only reason why I do 3 different piles is it allows me to tune into different energies. Let's say if there would be only one pile, then it's maybe the same message but the same energy. Like it's harder to channel one message for 2 hours instead of having it divided in 3. That's the only reason why I'm doing 3 piles, but obviously there is information for everyone in each of the 3 piles. So if you want to watch all of them, please do so. Again, the reason why I do 3 piles is so that I can tune into different energies, especially for Sekhmet, because again, she is a very, very multifaceted deity. And in this reading we're going to be exploring her different energies. So, enough talking, let's get in. Pile number 1 is the breathing card. Pile number 2 is know yourself. Pile number 3 is way of pearls. So see which card you're most drawn to. Again, you can always listen to all the 3 piles, and you will find the timestamps in the description box, and I'm going to be seeing you in your reading. Hello, pile number 1. So this is your reading if you have chosen the breathing card. And straight away, Sekhmet, by the way, has been choosing these cards. Straight away when this card came out, I understood that what she wants to talk about today is life force energy. Because Sekhmet is, another name for Sekhmet is the fiery breath. And she is the queen of the desert. And this fiery breath actually refers to our life force energy. Because the word Sekhem, that's this fiery energy. It's almost our creative energy. And the reason why she is called the Queen of the Desert is because she is that fiery energy of the desert. And to make it easier to understand, so in the ancient Egyptian tradition, there are 2 lands. There is Lower Egypt and Upper Egypt. There is the desert, which is the red land, and the underworld, or the afterlife, which is the black land. So desert and underworld. And Sekhmet is the queen of the desert. That means that she is the visible energy. And everything in the desert needs to be destroyed, because nothing that is physical is permanent. Everything that is in the desert, in the red land, in the visible world has to be destroyed. So yes, Sekhmet is creative energy, it's life force energy, but it's also the energy of destruction. So Sekhmet allows a tree to grow, but Sekhmet is also the energy that is allowing that tree to decay. But it's almost the energy of destruction that allows new things to be created. And the reason why, again, Sekhmet is the queen of the desert, the queen of the red land, the queen of the physical world, is this is an analogy that makes us understand that everything is always changing and things need to be destroyed in order to be created. So most people know Sekhmet as the energy of destruction, the energy of Kali. It's a very intense energy actually. So whenever we invoke Sekhmet, we invoke her when we are wanting to do shadow work. We invoke her when we are literally wanting to destroy something in our life, to destroy a thought pattern, to destroy certain things, or to change, to transition from a cocoon into a butterfly. And she is destroying everything that is in the way. And funnily enough, this happens through the breath. Because when we breathe, we are not only breathing air, we are breathing in the spiritual fire. And Sekhmet is the guardian of that spiritual fire. She is the spiritual fire because she is the life force energy. Sa Sekhem Sahu, which is a kemetic mantra. Sa Sekhem Sahu. It's an adoration or a sign of gratitude for the life force energy. Sekhmet and Sekhem, it's almost the same. But yeah, it's the cosmic energy that allows everything to be alive, but also destroys everything. And again, this destruction or this creation also happens through the breath. Because when we breathe, again, we are breathing in this life force energy. So when we are breathing consciously, the deeper we breathe, the more life force energy we are allowing into our body. So when we are very stressed and our breath is shallow, then we cannot really manifest things that well. Because not only are we stressed, so we are not really aligned with our heart, but we're also not allowing enough life force energy to flow into our vessel, so that we're not allowing that life force energy to flow in that we need to manifest our creations. So there is a big emphasis, yes, obviously on the breath, and knowing that everything, that destruction is a crucial part of creation. And yeah, Sekhmet is a healer. Sekhmet is a master healer because she destroys everything which is in the way of us being a creator being, basically. But yeah, let's see what the cards have to say. I already love the energy. Here, pile number 1. I already shuffled the cards. So, we have the 2 of Swords. We have the 7 of Swords. Okay. Okay, a lot of swords. What's going on? Ace of Swords. Then we have the Moon. 7 of Wands. Okay. The Hermit. Okay, I already see where this is going. 5 of Coins. 2 of Wands. And 6 of Wands. Oh my goodness, absolutely love this energy. Alright. I'm hearing Dispeller of Chaos. So in the Kemetic creation story, in the Book of the Dead or in the ancient hymns and chants of ancient Egypt, Sekhmet is the right eye of Ra. And the right eye is exactly this fiery energy, this, the energy of fire, but fire needs something, needs to consume something in order to burn. So that's also one aspect of Sekhmet, like in order for creations to take place, in order for literally for us to be creator beings in this red land, in the desert, in the physical realm, we need energy or something else to sustain ourselves. So it's important for us to charge our vessel, again through breath, but also through food. And it's really, this energy of fire that needs to destroy in order to create. So also the light of the sun needs spiritual energy in order to sustain itself, because in order for this physical realm, in order for the desert, for the red land to sustain, there needs to be destruction, because again, this is what is allowing that flame to burn. And with the Dispeller of Chaos, I'm really being made to feel that, this fire is burning away all the illusions. So we can also invoke Sekhmet whenever we are trying to do, again, healing, whenever we are trying to tune into our subconscious energies, because with the moon, I'm always being made to feel this subconscious energy, like whenever we are wanting to transcend a subconscious pattern, to do shadow work, to transcend to a new cycle, we can invoke the energy of Sekhmet to burn away everything that is in the way. And it's almost, allowing that wave to unfold. So it's very interesting, because also looking at this card, this part here, the lower part, for me looks like the underworld, the afterlife, the black land, the invisible realm, the spirit realm. It's all the same thing. Sekhmet is burning away every illusion that is in the way for us to connect with Anubis. And Anubis is the guide of the underworld. He is almost guarding the gates to the underworld. And Anubis is not a evil deity. Many people see Anubis as a dark entity, or see this energy as connected with death. Obviously, in ancient Egypt, it was the deity of death. But it's not like only literal death, but it's also, let's say, the death when we go out of the red land, when we leave the desert and we move into the underworld. And this basically happens every night when we sleep. When our physical body is at sleep, we move into the spirit realm, we move into the underworld, we move into our subconscious or our unconscious. It depends on how deep we go, but there are also different layers to dreams. There is a subconscious layer, there is an unconscious layer, we can travel to other dimensions, but everything that happens outside of our physical body, that's the domain of the underworld, of the black land. This is actually where the name Kem comes from. Kem means black land, but it refers to the underworld, the afterlife, the invisible realm. And again, we can also invoke Sekhmet almost to remove the fear of connecting with the spirit realm, because she's almost allowing us to move past everything that's physical and open the gates to the invisible, to the non-physical. And that's why there is a wave, because the non-physical is everything that is not yet formed, not yet defined, not yet crystallized. Because in the desert everything has form, everything is crystallized, everything is manifested in creation. And Sekhmet is allowing us to, almost connect with the energy of Anubis without having fear, and allowing Anubis to guide us through the underworld. strong message also coming through. And yes, this is exactly this energy of needing to explore what we see and what we perceive in this waking state, but from different perspectives. Because I'm almost being made to feel this magnifying glass is this energy of introspection, allowing ourselves to see what lies behind the veil. But it's almost understanding the veil from both sides. And so we can invoke the energy of Sekhmet to, literally ask us to burn away, we can ask Sekhmet to burn the illusions of the veil, of the physical world, of the desert, with the fire, the spiritual fire, and this is what allows us to get a better understanding of who we are, because the Two of Wands, it's also about connecting with our inner values, connecting with our inner self. It's almost like, having an inspiration and then acting on that inspiration, but through that action getting to know ourselves, getting to know our inner environment, but also the outer environment. There is really this dynamic between the outer and the inner. And since we have so many swords, we can also invoke Sekhmet to bring in the fire that we need to to transcend from thought patterns. Because it's actually thought patterns which create the physical realm. And it's very interesting when we take plant medicine, for example, and we have hallucinations or we see the reality distorted. It's not that the physical reality actually changes, but it's almost like our thought patterns are not structured in the same way. And that's why we perceive that everything is like moving or has a different color or has a different shape. But what is changing is our thought patterns. So the message that is coming through is our thoughts create our reality. And when we change our thoughts, our reality shifts. And that's why when we have plant medicine, everything in the physical reality shifts. We perceive as if matter would be fluid, as if everything was energy, or we look at things in a completely different way. But what plant medicines are doing, they are creating new connections, new pathways, new patterns that allows us to look at the physical in a different way. But it's about understanding that it's not really physical. And that's why there is always this parallel with the underworld. Because as above, so below. The underworld, the black land, is mirroring the red land. And it's both of the same essence. Both of it is spiritual. And we can invoke Sekhmet to allow us to see that, to recognize our limitations, to recognize where our thoughts are, I wouldn't say limiting us, but are creating the reality that we perceive. And this structured reality that we are perceiving is not the ultimate reality. Because it is almost the element of earth in alchemy is not physical, but it's a pattern, it's a crystallization. So I might think that this is physical and this is the element of earth. But actually the element of earth is structured thought patterns. And that's why Sekhmet is coming through to, allow us to see at the physical realm, at the desert, at the red land, in a completely different way. Because it's about integrating that spiritual perspective. And that allows us to understand this life in a completely new way. And that also allows us to let go of everything that is in the way of our creations, of our manifestations. But before I continue, I am feeling called to pull some oracle cards. And we're channeling messages from Sekhmet. Okay, that was loud and clear. And then we have blessings beyond the soul path. Honor all life. Exchange of joy without karma or sacrifice. Also a card that likes to show up very often in my readings. Then we have vision of unity, focus on the light, right to see, releasing illusions, exactly, pineal activation. All right. And then we have resolution, old timelines collapsing, insights, higher self-embodiment expression, exactly. Okay. Oh my god, okay, the message is coming through so perfectly. I couldn't have asked for better cards to channel this message. But yeah, what's coming through with this is that... Let me gather my thoughts. So, we see the red land in both cards. So this upper triangle is representing Lower Egypt. So it's the desert, the physical realm, the visible realm, and the triangle that is under, that is the underworld. But it's actually Upper Egypt. So there is a bit of confusion. This is Upper Egypt, this is Lower Egypt. This is the underworld, this is the desert. This is the black land, this is the red land. And what is happening right now on a collective level is that we are integrating this vision of unity, where we are no longer only looking at the Lower Egypt or the upper triangle. It's a bit confusing, I know. That when we're not only looking at the physical world, but we're integrating this spiritual perspective. And that's why we are releasing the illusions. And when Sekhmet is unleashing her rage in the stories that we hear, she is not like killing people out of her thirst for blood. That's one of the most famous stories. Like, she is not an evil energy. She is not creating chaos in order to destroy everything. Yes, she is destructive energy, but it's destructive energy to create, destructive energy to let go of the physical limitations and to channel or to allow this higher perspective to come through. And that's why she is the dispeller of darkness, the dispeller of chaos. She is the energy that allows us to release illusions. And that's why right to see, like, she is allowing us to see clearly. And that's why when we invoke her energy, we have to be prepared for all the illusions to be shattered. And this again can be very, very intense, because this is also the energy of the dark night of the soul, where we are almost in this hermit mode and we are looking at the underworld, or we are looking at what is stored within our subconscious. But yeah, we are releasing the illusions of our subconscious. It's almost releasing a energetic layer that is distorting the perception of what lies underneath. Because so many of our thought patterns are actually programmed by our subconscious. If not 90% of almost all of our thought patterns are programmed by the subconscious. And sometimes it's exactly this subconscious layer which prevents us to go even deeper in the unconscious or the superconscious, which is obviously still part of the invisible world, because when we meditate and we close our eyes, we connect to the invisible realm, to the spirit realm. But very often there is these subconscious patterns which, yeah, they just don't allow us to dive deeper. So when we are in for a deep dive, we can invoke the energy of Sekhmet to burn away all of the limitations which hold us back. This is exactly the energy of the Seven of Wands, like literally pushing away everything that's in the way. And guess what? It happens through the breath. So when we are wanting to go a layer deeper, we are needing to breathe deeper, because it's through our breath that we are tuning into the different dimensions. We cannot meditate if we're super stressed. We cannot channel if our breath is very shallow. So the deeper we breathe, the more energy we are inviting into our light vessel. The deeper we can swim into, let's say, the forest. The deeper we can go into the underworld and shine the light into what's going on. And this vision of unity, this resolution, this awakening of consciousness is when we make the unconscious conscious. So it's literally bringing that which is in the underworld to the red land. And that's why we have the red land in both cards. That's why we have the physical world emphasized in both cards. But it's about bringing the spirit realm into the physical world. That's why vision of unity, seeing that actually everything is one. The two realms are not separated. Everything is connected through the flower of life, through the threads of spirit, through the divine feminine energy. Again, Sekhmet. Well, it's not necessarily Sekhmet, but it's more Hathor, which is the energy of the matrix, the mother matrix, the whole cosmos. But yes, Sekhmet is this energy of destruction to create. And yeah, we're really wanting to bring in this unified vision, to bring in this holistic perspective. And this is what is allowing us to activate our pineal gland. Because the pineal gland is receptive. It is feminine. And the pituitary gland is masculine. It is almost creating our picture, everything we perceive. Because with the pineal gland, we are channeling the energies from the higher realms. The pineal gland is the feminine aspect in the sense that it is channeling higher dimensional light, in this case actually from the underworld, but it comes from the spiritual world, and it is being channeled into our vessel through the sun, through the light of the sun, but the source of that light comes from the spirit realm. So the pineal gland is being receptive to these higher dimensional energies. And the pituitary gland is then our third eye that is creating the vision. Our pituitary gland is the, let's say, the top of the pyramid. It's the sun, the projector that is creating this reality. And by the way, it comes from us. We are the all-seeing eye. We are the top of the pyramid. We are that vision of unity. And yes, we are creating everything that's physical, everything that's visible. But our source, where we come from, where this consciousness comes from, where this spirit comes from. Sorry, my camera cut out. But yeah, where this spirit comes from, that's from the underworld, basically. And yeah, what is happening is a true resolution, in the sense that yes, old timelines collapsing, higher self-embodiment, this is exactly allowing us to look at life, to look at the physical world, everything we are experiencing from a different perspective. And we are literally bringing heaven to earth. But what we are doing is we are creating a bridge between the two realms, between the two worlds. And this is exactly the energy of the butterfly, which is allowing us, higher self-embodiment, basically. So Sekhmet is guiding us from being a caterpillar. And while we are in the cocoon, she is destroying all the illusions. She is destroying everything that is in the way. But she is also destroying that cocoon in order for the butterfly to emerge. And that's exactly this higher self-embodiment, where we are literally letting go of the limitations of the physical realm, and we are embodying the energy of victory. And that's why I was so excited about how the cards came out, because we also have the Ace of Swords, where there is the crown, and Sekhmet is she who wears the golden crown of sovereignty, because she knows that she is the sovereign of the physical world. She is the sovereign of everything that is in creation, because we are the creators of this reality. Again, we are the top of the pyramid, of the red land, of the desert. And when we are aware that we are creator beings, then we are wearing this crown. And this is the crown of sovereignty, the crown of Sekhmet, the golden crown. And this is ultimate victory, where we understand that, basically we are the creators of this universe. And we are wearing this crown when we are able to let go of all the thought patterns and all the beliefs that hold us back from embodying that truth. And that's exactly higher self-embodiment, where we realize that we are our higher self, where we are channeling this higher awareness into our physical vessel. And we can invoke the energy of Sekhmet in order to do that. What a beautiful energy. That's the message for this pile. I don't want to push it to make it longer because there is definitely some more messages coming through in the other piles. So if you feel called to watch the other piles, you can continue here. Otherwise, this is your message for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm also offering personal readings, so if you would like to book a personal reading, you can always reach out to me on my email address. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Hello, beautiful soul. So this is your reading if you have chosen pile number 2 with Know Yourself. And straight away, as I'm looking at this card, I'm being made to feel this is a direct continuation from pile number 1. If you're coming from there, hello again. But yeah, we have been talking about divine sovereignty. And this is exactly Know Yourself. But with Know Yourself, I'm being taken to know thyself. And when we talk about know thyself, we are not talking about our ego, but we are literally talking about everything, the entire universe basically. So when we talk about Know Yourself, it's actually knowing the laws of the universe, knowing about the divine and knowing about the different forms of the divine. And this is where Sekhmet comes in. Sekhmet is, yes, obviously it's a deity, it's a goddess, but Sekhmet is an aspect of Source Creator. Obviously there is only one source. Everything comes from one, everything emerges from one, and everything goes back to one. And when this one emanates, there are different emanations from this one. And these different emanations, these are the different gods and goddesses of not only ancient Egypt, but all the pagan traditions. So when we're talking about Sekhmet or Isis or Osiris or Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Odin, all of these deities or gods and goddesses, they are aspects and attributes of the one source, of Source Creator, God, the universe, Creator, Source, doesn't matter how you call it. And it's very important not to forget that yes, it's one aspect, it's almost like one color of the rainbow, but we are not wanting to separate that single color from the entire rainbow. Yes, we are wanting to connect with a deity, we are wanting to connect with an aspect, but we are always wanting to see the connection between all the other aspects. So it's very important not to only call in Sekhmet, not to only focus on one specific deity, because again, this is only one aspect of that deity. And with Know Yourself, the message that is coming through is we are wanting to know all the aspects of who we are. And these deities, they help us get to know these aspects, but within ourselves. So that's why when I say that Sekhmet is the sovereign of the red land, of the desert, of the physical world, then it is actually us, because we are the creators of the physical world. We are the sovereigns of this physical realm. If you're coming from pile 1, the red land, if you don't come from pile 1, the red land is the physical world, everything that's visible, everything that is in creation. So these deities and these aspects are actually analogies for us to get to know ourselves, to get to know our power. And these are actually forms to describe that which lies beyond form, that which is not defined. It's almost also the deities of Hinduism, Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, like all of these are forms, yes, to understand the formless one. It's almost like the message that is coming through, it's so important not to venerate the form, not to hyper focus on the form, because we don't want to forget that this form is just a construct for us to understand that which lies beyond form. All these different aspects of Source, all these different deities, they are only here for us to get to know source basically. But source is undefinable, source is undescribable, because we are children of source. We are emanations of source, so we can never truly know what source is, because it lies completely outside of what we are capable of perceiving. And that's why I feel, yes, it's very important to, let's say, have idols, to worship forms, but we never want to forget that all these forms are only here to help us understand what source truly is. That's a very strong message. So we can pray to every god that we want. We can, have an altar with Sekhmet, with Isis, and with all these beings and deities. And that's super beautiful, because we may feel inclined to work with specific energies throughout our life. But again, I cannot say it enough. All these forms are only here to help us remember the source of our truth, the truth that we are the source of all that is. And that's a very strong message. And know yourself. Who am I? That's exactly. These deities and these beings, Sekhmet for example, helps us get to know who we are. And by studying these deities and the stories of all the creation myths and all the religions, we are better understanding who we are. That's why I personally believe it's so important to look in different traditions, not only follow one religion or look at one tradition or just see things from one perspective, because again, that's just one ray of the rainbow. But we are never wanting to forget that what we're looking at is just one perspective. But we are wanting to see the entire rainbow, all the perspectives. And that's why even if we are, for example, a devoted Christian, it's important for us to look into all the other stories, Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, Hinduism, and we're not traders of our own religion if we're doing that. It's about knowing ourselves. And it's so important to have that holistic perspective. And it's actually so beautiful that we have so many religions and so many traditions, so many cultures, because every culture explains source through their own lens, through their own color, their own unique perspective. But the more we look at these different perspectives, the more we tune into these different energies and stories, the better we can understand the source. Because again, if we only look at it from one perspective, it's super limiting. Then we only have this viewpoint. And that's why it's so important to explore and experiment, to connect with different energies, connect with different deities, because they are actually only forms to help us to get to know ourselves. And I feel I have repeated this many times, but it's very important. So that's for this card for now. And let's see what else we have. I have already shuffled the cards, and we have the Ace of Coins. We have the Four of Cups, the Ten of Coins, Three of Cups, Ace of Cups, ooh, love it, okay. Ace of Wands, what's going on? Okay. Let's see if we also have the Ace of Swords, then it's complete. Ah, my goodness, Ace of Cups again. What's going on here? Okay. Four of Pentacles. And the Hanged Man. Alright, what is going on here? I'm being told to draw some cards from my Oracle deck, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. We're channeling messages from Sekhmet, asking for any guidance and messages for today. One more. There you go. So we have unlock your gifts, sacred gifts, energy, senses, pure love is the key. And I will place it like, whatever, like this. Then we have the Earth Angel, kindness, sensitivity is strength, higher perspective, divine abilities. Okay. And last but not least, we have forgiveness. See the bigger picture. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Buddha. There we go. So, with all of these aces, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Cups twice, and Ace of Wands, that's exactly the energy that I have been mentioning. It's almost seeing the one, but through many different lenses, through many different perspectives. And it's so beautiful that the Ace of Cups shows up twice. And this is telling us that even if we look at the same thing, it can still have a different shape. So my perspective of something can look like this card, and your perspective of something can look like this card. We are looking at the same things, but our perceptions are completely different. Look at the different vibe of these cards. I'm looking at the Ace of Cups here, and this is a very pristine and very calm energy, like very harmonious energy. The energy of the morning, very natural, very organic. And when I look at this card, it's a bit harsher. It's a bit like vroom. It's more, yeah. But what is changing is our own perception. So we may be looking at the same thing, but it's completely different. So the message coming through it here is that we can never take things too literally. We can never say that this is the ultimate truth and this is only the only way. Because yes, it's the energy of the Ace of Cups. What we're looking at is the energy itself. But the way this is unfolding can be so different from everyone. So Sekhmet is coming through to tell us to be open-minded, not to be too fixed on the forms. Because again, she is the sovereign of the physical world. She is the sovereign of everything that is in creation, of the desert, of the red land. And the black land, which is the underworld, that's everything that's visible. And she's coming through to tell us that, yeah, we don't want to get attached to the forms. We don't want to get attached to anything that's physical, because that too is changing. Even if something is solid, everything is changing. And that's why Sekhmet is the energy of destruction to create. Because everything that is physical is also always changing. So we can never look at the one truth that is source through the lens of something that is physical, because that's only one perspective of it. And there is really this strong message of, yeah, how we look at the universe is how love is flowing through us. So we are basically creating the filter. We are the bridge between the underworld, the invisible spirit world, and the desert, the physical world. We are the bridge between the two realms. And it depends on us how much light we allow in, or what kind of perspective we allow in, or if we have a filter on top. Sometimes I'm being shown these filters that you put on cameras. So sometimes we have a specific lens, like a specific color that is changing our perception. And the message that is coming through is, yes, the truth is same for everyone, but it depends on our own filter, how we are perceiving it. And that's why, like, having fights or wars over religion, that's like the most, like, it's the most ignorant thing there can be, because it's like, it's, I don't know, I can't even find the words to describe how irrational that is, because there is absolutely no reason to fight over ideologies, and no one has the right to tell you that what you believe is wrong, because everyone has their own filter. And I might have a pink filter on my camera and I look at life through rose-tinted glasses, and that's my reality, and that's good. Who are you to tell me that I should not be looking at it like this way? Maybe you have a filter that is super dark and you cannot see the light, and it's about seeing that, it's about honoring everyone's perspective and allowing everyone's perspective, because every reality and every truth is valid. But again, when we change our filter, when we remove the filter, when I remove my rose-tinted glasses, or when the other person is maybe opening the lens opening a bit more, then more light can come in. And the more light comes in, the more we open our heart, the closer we get to the real truth, like to the truth that is source. But even if we are a super enlightened being with all of our chakras open and everything super open, it's still not the ultimate truth. It's still not the source, basically. And so with all these aces coming through, it's understanding that also life force energy can come through in many different forms. And actually, it's this one light that manifests in different ways. Because life force energy is life force energy, like the spirit breath of Sekhmet, this fiery energy, this fiery creative energy. That can take many different forms. Again, it can be fire, it can be water, it can be earth. And the way they show up in the physical realm is completely different. But the seed of them is same for everyone. And that's why essentially all of us, we are all the same, but the way we show ourselves is completely different. And with the Ace of Coins, it's really about, yes, seeing everything that's physical, but also being able to tune into the invisible. And when we are able to integrate that perspective, then we can literally have heaven on earth. And then there is literally this higher self embodiment. And we can get to know ourselves by playing. Because when I look at this card, it's a very playful energy, like a very celebratory energy. I'm being made to feel I want to move, I want to dance, I want to have conversations with other people, I want to enjoy myself. I want to look at my light and rediscover my light through joy, through pleasure. Lifting the veil, opening my heart, and allowing all these insights to come through. And this happens by exploring and experimenting. And that's why the biggest message coming through is embracing our differences, embracing our similarities, embracing all of our paths, because every path is valid. No one is better or worse than anyone. No one is above or below anyone, because essentially we are all source, and source is all that is. But again, we can look at it from this side, or it can have a completely different way, like the Ace of Wands, for example, or the Ace of Coins. It's the same energy or the same essence showing itself through different energies. And this is what is allowing us to unlock our gifts, when there is openness to these different viewpoints, and when we also let go of the attachment to form. Because when we are attached to one specific viewpoint, one specific energy, this is my truth, and the way you look at it is wrong, then there is rigidity, and we cannot really allow ourselves to live in this heart-centered way. And this is higher self-embodiment. This is what is allowing us to let go of everything that's stagnant. Because when our heart is closed, when we are bitter because we think someone is wrong and we are right, that is only closing our heart. So that's why forgiveness is also coming through. Like, we don't want to hold resentment even if someone doesn't agree with us. Even if someone has a completely different perception of reality than us. It has nothing to do with us. We don't want to take it personally, because everyone has their own unique perspective on how to look at things. And when we accept our own truth, when we honor our own truth without needing to change it, then stagnancy is being released. And it's almost like I'm seeing a dam that is opening, like it's like destroying everything that is in the way and allowing this magic to be unfolded. Sacred gifts, energy senses, pure love is the key, exactly. This openness to everything that is love, and that is allowing us to unlock all the different aspects of who we are. Because if we hold on to one part, to one color of the rainbow, then our whole life experience is only that one color. If we always just see blue, then everything is blue, everything is boring. But when we open our heart and allow ourselves to see things from a different perspective, then we can get to know, like, oh, there is also yellow, and there is also red, and I'm also this, I'm also that, I'm all these beings, all these aspects. And this is the key. This openness to Yeah, pure love is the key, and I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, and then we have the Earth Angel. Why do we have the Earth Angel? Yeah, this is allowing us to be literal Earth Angels. Because we are never wanting to forget that we come from the underworld. We come from the spirit realm. We come from the invisible realm. That's the afterlife in the ancient Kemetic tradition. Everything that is beyond the veil. But right now, we are, let's say, on the wheel, or we are creating the wheel. And we can be these angels in the physical realm. We can embody the truth and these realizations from the underworld and bring them here. And this is what is allowing us to forgive all the karmic energies that have been perpetuating for so many cycles. There is also a feeling of cycles coming through. Because right now it's about creating community. It's about honoring every perspective and building something on that. And we can only build, we can only make something happen when there is this sense of community, when there is this sense of, okay, maybe our viewpoints are different, but we can still be friends. You have this religion, this race, this culture, but we can still be one because essentially we are one. And this is what we are doing collectively, and that's why the energy of the Earth Angel is coming through. We are literally Earth Angels, and we are allowing this abundance to flow through. And it happens through our openness. And Sekhmet, this is like, it kind of went into a different direction than I thought. But I want to honor everything that's coming through. But Sekhmet is exactly also this energy of the sun, this golden energy, this energy that she is also the fierce mother. She is also a warrior, a healer, a protector. But she is doing it actually very effortlessly because she knows that she is the queen. As soon as the sun is out, all the darkness goes away. And in order for the darkness to go away, there needs to be forgiveness. And that is allowing us to truly heal and to see the bigger picture. And this is the energy of the Hanged Man, surrendering to source, surrendering to the light, surrendering, like almost offering all the illusions to Sekhmet so she can burn them away and transmute them. Because Sekhmet is also the energy of Kali. It's the energy of, the Dark Mother. And it's not as dark as we might think. Because what she is doing is simply removing the darkness so that this abundance can come in. And Sekhmet and Kali and Anubis and all these darker entities, they're not evil. They're just helping us to realize that everything is a blessing. That everything is literally the 10 of coins. The 10 of coins is ultimate happiness, ultimate fulfillment, all of our dreams manifested, and finding completion in the physical realm. And we are wanting to have this sense of completion while being here. Because I know many starseeds or many light workers, obviously there is a feeling of things being harsh, things being unfair maybe, things being maybe not as nice as in the higher realms. Obviously, in the higher realms there is so much more love, there is so much more purity. But we can have that purity here. We can literally bring heaven to earth, because essentially it is here already. We just have to open our heart to realize that it's already here. And so we no longer want to escape, we no longer want to go home or to move somewhere else, because actually we are here. There is nowhere else to go. Where should we go? There is only the present moment. And all the other dimensions, they are also here in the present moment. It's just like a layer on top of another layer and another layer, but there is nowhere else to go. There is nowhere else to transcend to, or it's already contained within itself. Everything is one, everything comes from one. And it's really about surrendering so that this higher perspective can come through. Really like they're like, okay, I'm just surrendering, I'm just giving up, and I am allowing the light to flow through. I am allowing Sekhmet to show me the way. I am allowing Sekhmet to not even, burn away all illusions, but in this pile it's more so about forgiveness, knowing that Sekhmet is the mother and she's only destroying things, she's only taking away things from us so that she can replace it with more beauty, with more abundance, with more happiness. But we have to surrender, we have to let go. If we want to hold on, if we want to keep on closing our heart, if we still want to only look at one perspective, then this abundance cannot flow through. But when we surrender, when we allow her to take over, then all of these things can come through. And with all of these aces, oh my goodness, I never had so many aces in a reading. It's a new beginning, but it's a new beginning for Earth, a new beginning for the whole of humanity. And we are really here to be these Earth angels. We all are Earth angels, like there are many people who identify with, I'm a Blu-ray indigo star child, I am a crystal child, I'm a rainbow child, I'm an earth angel, I'm that, but we are all of this. We're all of it and more, things that we are not even able to perceive, because every person that is incarnated in this physical realm comes from the higher dimensions, comes from the spirit realm. And all these stories, for some reason, this is also coming through about unsouled beings or beings without a soul. I personally believe, and that's my opinion, you can have another opinion, but I personally believe that's completely BS. Like, that's just another construct that is keeping us apart, that is keeping us separated, that we are looking at beings without a soul. If you hear this for the first time, you might be thinking, what are you talking about? But there is a lot of talk about these unsouled beings, or like beings not having a soul, but I personally believe this is complete bollock. Is that even a word? But yeah, I hope you understand what I mean. We are wanting unity, we are wanting love, we are wanting to see that everything is one. And it's okay to have different viewpoints, but ultimately everything is the sun, everything is source, and this is just an undiscussable fact. And every paradigm that is trying to separate us is actually only in place so that we understand that everything is one. And that's why Sekhmet is the dispeller of darkness, and that's why there is darkness. Because maybe if there would not be darkness, we would not be able to see that everything is one. That's why we maybe have chosen, obviously we have chosen on a soul level to come here, to also experience darkness, to also experience pain, because this allows us to look at source but from a different perspective. This allows us to see one side of the rainbow that we have not yet experienced, but it is still part of one. Everything comes from source, everything comes from the divine will, and even the darkest and the most evil things in this realm that are happening, it still comes from source, because nothing exists outside of source. Even like the devil and the darkest and AI and all of this, like everything that we consider as being evil or dark, it still comes from source. And when we are able to understand that, this is what is unlocking all of our gifts, because truly there is nothing else than source. How can there be any AI or any other consciousness that exists outside of source? It's not possible. Everything is source. and I have to finish the reading here, because I could continue talk in circles, but everything is source. It's making me laugh, because everything that I would continue on saying would be ending to the same thing, that everything is source. So I guess I close it now. And see, this is exactly the reason why I do 3 different piles, because if I would continue, then I would end up every sentence with that everything is source. I don't know, it makes me happy. Because it's actually so easy, and we make things so complicated. Why do we make things so complicated? It can be so easy. But yeah, let's finish on that note. Thank you so much for allowing me to tap into this energy. And I'm also offering personal readings, so you can always reach out to me on my email address. And yeah, I'm looking forward to be seeing you in the next reading. Thanks so much for watching. Hello, beautiful soul. So this is your reading, if you have chosen pile number 3, with the Way of Pearls. And as I'm looking at this card, I am hearing the string of pearls. So there is a connection with Alnilam, which is the central star of the Orion constellation. This is only for some of you a very specific message coming through before we tune into the energy of Sekhmet. There is something about Alnilam, and the word Alnilam means string of pearls or string of light. And what this refers to is like, yeah, almost like the multi-dimensional spirit threads. Because when I hear the string of pearls, I am always being taken to Indra's net. So it's really this higher dimensional web of creation that lies outside of creation. I hope this makes sense. But yeah, there is something about Alnilam. So you either have had past lifetimes in Alnilam, a very strong message coming through if you want to research beings from Alnilam or connecting with beings of Alnilam or Orion in general, also Mintaka or Alnitak, the 3 belt stars of Orion. It's coming through very strongly. But yeah, I'm more so being taken now this is in general for everyone, I'm being taken to this string of pearls, where it's almost, yeah, we are wanting to remember that we come from that. And the story of Indra's net, if you have never heard about that, that's basically the analogy of a spider's web with little droplets of water, just like on this headdress of this beautiful woman. So the story of Indra's net is that every droplet contains the entire net. And the entire net is contained within one droplet. So all of the droplets are reflected in this one drop. Oh my god, this is like 15th dimensional stuff. How can I put this in words? But yeah. So basically every single perspective, all the drops, all the dimensions, everything in the entire universe is reflected by that one drop, but yet this one drop contains all of the other perspectives. Does it make sense now? I hope it does. But what this is trying to tell us is the divine paradox. Us thinking that there is multiplicity, that there is duality, that there is more than one, but actually everything is one. So, yeah, all the droplets are connected by the spider web, by the spirit web, because spirit is not the web itself, but it's the intelligence that is creating the web. And the mother matrix, that's more the energy of Hathor coming through, that's the web itself, like the threads in between. It's like the mother matrix, the whole cosmos. And we are the droplets. We are the sparks of source, the sparks of consciousness, the sparks of light. But yet everything is contained within one drop. Even if there are many drops, it's still, everything is one. Like there is really this paradox that yes, there is duality, yes, there is the perceived multiplicity, but actually everything is one because all the droplets are contained within one droplet. It's very hard for me to find the words to describe this, but if you feel called, you may also research something about Indra's net. Probably they're better able to better able to explain it, because it's very hard for me to find the words to explain this high of a dimensional this high of dimensional stuff. But yeah, it is talking about the divine paradox. It is talking about, yeah, the string of pearls. And we are also wanting to connect with that energy, because we very often talk about the, let's say, 12 dimensions. That's pretty much a good system to look at, because I always connect the 12 dimensions with the 12 signs of the zodiac and the 12 strains of DNA, the 12 strands of DNA, sorry. And there is a relation with that, like it's allowing us, and the 12th chakra system, obviously, 12 cranial nerves, 12 apostles, 12, 12, 12, a lot of 12s. So the system of 12 is helping us to understand source in a very complete way. And that's why there are 12 hours and 12 months of a year. Like 12 is a very good number to divide the truth that is source, to understand source in different perspectives, or to separate a day in 12 hours, or like, I know it's 24 hours, but it's like 12, the 12 of the clock. And 12 is a number that allows us to explain the invisible. And that's why there are also 12 Olympian gods. That's why there are also 12 signs of the zodiac. Obviously there are more deities. Obviously there are more constellations. Obviously there are more nerves, more apostles, more of everything. But 12 is a complete number because it gives us an insight into these different aspects, or it allows us to understand all these different aspects. Like it helps us find the words for things that are beyond words. And that's why when I try to explain this string of pearls, like, it's even with this story of Indra's net of jewels, it's still hard to describe because it's so much outside of what we are capable of perceiving. But the message that is coming through is, yeah, the divine paradox, in the sense that things are not as they seem. Things are not as apparent, and we are always wanting to connect also with these higher vibrations, coming back to the system of the 12 dimensions or the 12 chakras. Obviously there are more than 12 chakras, but again, the 12 chakra system is a good system that gives us everything we need to be able to connect to the energy of source. And then when we are even more evolved, we can look at 24 chakras, or infinite amount of chakras. It doesn't matter. There is really an infinite amount of chakras. There is an infinite amount of connections with spirit, of energy centers, of strings, of pearls. But yeah, we are wanting to connect with everything that lies outside of creation, even outside of that 12 system of 12. System of the 12 zodiac signs, system of the 12 dimensions, because the net of jewels, that exists beyond the 12th dimension, that exists in the vibrations of the 15th dimension, where it's about primal sound, but it's almost sound and light that is not yet defined. So it's the potential of sound, it's the potential of spirit. Like, it's super subtle, and obviously it's like not even possible as human beings to tune into this high of a vibration. Well, maybe it would be possible, but we are here in creation for a reason. We are in a physical vessel for a reason, because we have chosen to experience this physical incarnation. Our soul has chosen to do so, and that's why it's important to also, yeah, it's again this duality, this paradox. I'm wanting to tell you, it's important to embrace us being physical, but it's also important to know, or to tune into everything that is beyond the physical, everything that is beyond creation, like even outside of the light line, outside of the string of pearls. But that's the paradox. Oh my goodness, and it's a whole paradox, and I'm sorry if the things that I'm saying are contradicting a little bit, or if it's not very clear what I'm trying to say, but it's really through this exploration of this paradox that we are both physical and spiritual, that we are both an entity as a human being, but we are the whole universe. Like, exploring this paradox, I'm being made to feel that this is what is, yeah, bringing you closer to the truth of who you are, because there is a liminal space. Liminal space is always a space of anticipation, where we are waiting for a new level of awareness to come in, new energies to come in, a time for growth, expanding the awareness of who we are. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say. We are channeling messages from Sekhmet, and for some reason there is another message coming through, and I always honor that. I never want to force anything. So let's see what we have. 7 of coins, the Judgment, 3 of coins, 8 of swords, Ace of Wands, Princess of Spheres, which is the Page of Pentacles. No, is it the Page of... I think it's the Page of Pentacles. Yes. Then we have the 6 of Wands, beautiful. We have Death, ooh, okay. In this position, very powerful. And we have the Fool, oh my goodness. A completely new beginning. Oh wow. Before I continue, I am being called to pull some cards from this deck. We are channeling messages from Sekhmet. Okay, let's see what we have. We have the ostrich, struzzo. Then we have Capricorn. Do you say Capricorn? Is this the name of the animal? I think so. Is it? No, Capricorn is a mystical creature. What's the name of this animal? Is it Capricorn? Maybe it's Capricorn. It doesn't matter. And we have the whale. Okay. So there is something about letting go of restrictions, because with the Capricorn, I'm really being made to feel this energy of the devil, the energy of being in a cycle, the energy of Kronos. Kronos is the deity of time. Kronos is connected to all the stories of Father Time, basically. And it's time that keeps us, let's say, in creation, or it's almost time that keeps us in a loop. And it's this time, the cycle of time, which is the cycle of creation and destruction. And since we are channeling messages from Sekhmet, Sekhmet is the energy of destruction, but the destruction to create. It's similar also to the energy of Shiva, because Shiva is also the destroyer, but Shiva is destroying things so that a new birth can emerge, new things can be created. And there is something about transcending cycles, transcending the cycles of time, moving beyond time, and literally, yes, bringing in a new beginning, but for the whole of humanity, bringing in a new beginning, so that we are even able to channel these super higher dimensional energies into the earth. Because with Father Time also coming through, and with Shiva coming through, and since we're talking about Sekhmet, it's about destroying the limitations of time, using the energy of fire, but knowing that, this is only allowing a new reality to be birthed. So for some reason, I'm really being taken to the happenings that are, to everything that is unfolding in the human collective, okay? So there is a lot of still fear going on about blah blah, global warming, and I'm not like discrediting that, but I personally feel that a lot of it has to do with fear-mongering agendas, and a lot of it has to do with, obviously, I don't deny that the climate is changing, and I don't deny that there is some truth to global warming. Obviously there is, but it's not in the way that it is being portrayed. It's not in the way that it is being shown to us, and this is a personal opinion. Like, you can have another opinion, and that's completely fine. But I feel everything that's happening right now, everything that seems that is being destroyed, cycles ending, a lot of fear of the future, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of actually perceived restrictions, because Capricorn is is centering the reading. Like, we might look at life or what's happening on Earth through the lens of limitations, through the lens of restrictions, or through almost fear, because it's also the energy of the devil. The devil is basically our lower self, our ego self, where we are looking at things within the cycle of time, looking at things from this perspective. But actually, all this destruction that is happening is allowing us to create a new reality. It's allowing us to invite in a new reality, so that we can move beyond this cycle, so that we can move beyond time and bring in timelessness. And this is the energy of heaven on earth. And that's why right now in the collective, the energy of Sekhmet is super present. Like, she is, if like obviously it depends on personal situations, but on the human collective, especially in the last few years, she has been the predominant energy in the collective. That's what I feel, because she is helping us to do shadow work. She's helping us to heal. And that's why all these things that are coming up, also with the pandemic, also with global warming, also with all this corruption being like coming to the surface, all of these, let's say, more negative things coming up, these are just symptoms that are showing themselves. These are just, yeah, it's almost when we have fever, for example. This is a symptom, but it's a symptom that allows us to heal. So we have heat, there is warmth, and this warmth is allowing us to destroy all the bacteria so that we can heal. And that's exactly the energy of Sekhmet. The energy of Sekhmet is infusing us with heat, with fire, with fever. Let's say the earth has fever right now. All these symptoms are showing, but what's happening is that the earth is healing. So it's so important not to get caught up in this negativity. Because the way, again, I'm not denying that global warming is a thing and all of that, but these are symptoms that are showing themselves. And symptoms are only showing so that we have the awareness of what needs to be healed. And so we are wanting to, of course, take action, do something against it, but not allowing ourselves to be pushed into this negativity and almost making us believe that there is no hope, almost throwing us into a dystopian future where we think that everything is going to be destroyed, because it's not. It's just a symptom that is showing up so that healing can take place. And the energy of Sekhmet is exactly that. Heat that allows heat and destruction and chaos and confusion that allows the balance to be restored. But Sekhmet is not bringing in this heat or this fever to make us suffer or to, I don't know, to make us, yeah. It is happening for our best interest. It is happening for our growth, so that we can have this new beginning for Earth, new beginning for humanity, where we are moving away from all of these perceived limitations that come from all of these demonic energies that have been on Earth for quite some time, for a long cycle of time. So we are not just talking about our lifetime or the recent years, or it has been there for at least 12,000 years or even more, like since like the fall of Atlantis was like the peak, and then the Dark Ages started, but it was like consciousness was already starting to deteriorate before that. But let's say the Atlantis, the Great Flood, there was a reset, and we already have had that reset. And so right now we won't have the same reset. Right now there won't be coming a catastrophe burning away everything. There won't be coming a solar flare destroying everything, or like a flood coming to destroy everything. No, this reset has already happened in Atlantean times. But what is happening now is that we are bringing back this higher dimensional energy. There would be no, like, cosmically, on a higher dimensional perspective, like when we look at Earth from this perspective, from the perspective of the string of pearls, what would be, this is just a question, what would be the sense of destroying the planet right now, after all this work that we have been doing? Again, it has already happened with the Great Flood. Why should there be a catastrophe destroying the whole planet right now? And every paradigm that is wanting you to believe that it's like that is simply a illusion that is creating fear, is simply a limiting belief. And Sekhmet is here to allow us to transcend all of these limitations, to go beyond fear, and to allow this death to take place. But it's not a death that everything on earth is dying, but it's the death of this old paradigm. It's the death of this demonic energy, these cycles of time, this restrictive energy governing the earth and humanity. And what is happening with this death is that the divine feminine is coming in. Every time I see the whale, I'm thinking of divine feminine energy. It's the energy of the divine mother. But it's also the energy of collaborating, creating community, and victory, true victory, because we have been resilient. I don't know why, I don't know if that's even a thing, but when I look at the boar, I'm feeling the energy of resilience. Like, we have done the healing work. We have worked so much. Why should the earth be destroyed right now? No, we're just at the beginning of bringing heaven on earth, and there is no catastrophe coming in. Again, that's my opinion, but we just have to look at it from a higher perspective, and then we will understand that there is absolutely nothing to fear. Because what's happening, we're letting go of this fear. We're letting go of the energy of the devil. The devil has no power anymore, because we're bringing in this higher perspective. We are bringing in a completely new beginning, but for all of humanity, for the whole of humanity. And we are literally, when I look at this, I see Isis, and actually it should be the other way around, but actually why not? It's Isis, that's the energy of what's beyond the veil, what's beyond the, basically everything that is in the invisible world. In the black land, we have talked, if you come from the other piles, we have talked about the black land, which is the spirit world, the invisible world, and the red land, which is the desert, the physical, did I say physical here? Spiritual, physical, invisible, visible, black land, red land, underworld, afterlife, red land. And what is happening, that Isis from the underworld is taking that spear and she is shooting it into our realm. So it's almost a new beginning, a new spark, a new bridge between the invisible realm and the spiritual realm. And this seed that comes from the other side is allowing us to, that's exactly this energy, the energy of a new beginning, of a new spark that comes from the spirit realm, that is allowing us to step into the energy of victory. Because the Six of Scepters is about victory. It's about, we have mastered it, we have transcended these cycles, and we are now moving into calmer waters. We are moving into like a death process, but on a collective level. And this is the new beginning. But before new things can start, old things have to fall away first. And this is the judgment day. So the apocalypse and the revelation and all these biblical stories, it's not that the earth is ending, because again there has been a reset in Atlantean times. Why should there be a reset again after all this work that we have been doing? This shadow period and this demonic energy was here for us so that we could become masters, so that we could learn how to collaborate between each other and with Source. All this darkness happened for a good reason. But why should now, after all these integrated lessons, be a stop? Why should Earth be destroyed again to start completely anew? No. Like, now we are moving into the golden age again. And now, after all these lessons through darkness, we are literally bringing heaven on earth. We are literally bringing in the sun. And it's very interesting that the sun is like very strong solar plexus here. The way we bring in heaven on earth, the way we bring in the sun, is by taking action. Because this spear from Isis, from the other side of the veil, that's the spark of inspiration. That's spirit telling us to do certain things. Go buy that plot of land, start that community, do these things, or like create this, I don't know, it's the inspiration that comes from the spirit realm. But what we are doing is we are birthing this reality into creation by taking action and by embodying the energy of the Fool, knowing that now the start, like the reset, has happened already. Earth doesn't need to be destroyed in order for this new beginning to take place. And that's why we never want to allow ourselves to be like thrown into negativity or thrown into all these fear-mongering agendas, because no, these are still the ripples of the old times, but it's already done. The story is already written. Earth has already ascended, and the judgment day, again coming back to the apocalypse, it's not that the earth is being destroyed, but it's about seeing, okay, humanity, you have mastered the dark ages, and now it's time to bring in the light. Now it's time to bring in this new cycle. Now it's time to bring in timelessness, where we move beyond the restrictions imposed by time, where we move beyond the restrictions of these demonic energies that have been reigning for so many eons on this planet. But we are letting go of these restrictions right now. This is this death process, but it's a death and rebirth. That's exactly, oh my goodness, the synchronicities. That's exactly the energy of Sekhmet. She is destruction to create. She is bringing in this heat, this fever, this chaos, this a lot of movement so that we can heal. And that's why we never want to forget about how healing works. The symptoms have to show up. We have to see the darkness. We have to look at the darkness in the eye. And when we see it for what it is, then we can transcend it. Because again, if you come from pile 2, everything is source. Even demonic energies, even demons, even all of this energy still comes from source. And evil doesn't exist. Good and evil, that's just duality. But we are talking about unity, which is beyond all dualities. And it's, this new beginning with the one. Like we are really one. We have the Ace of Scepters, we have the one here, we have the Fool, we have death. Like, can there be any more symbols for a new beginning? Like, this is already the reset. And what is happening is that we are literally bringing heaven on earth. We are allowing this higher dimensional perspective to come through, so that we can be like this, like these dolphins playing in the waters. And they are green, so it's the energy of the heart. We are grounding this heart-centered energy here on earth. And in order to do that, we needed to go through this darkness. Like, this is so important, like not finger pointing all this energy. Like, even the demons and even the devil and even like these demonic energies, they still have a purpose. But we don't want to finger point at them, because that keeps us in duality. When we realize that even the darkest of things come from source, then we are true sovereigns, then we are true masters, then we are wearing the golden crown of sovereignty, the golden crown of Sekhmet, then we are truly the masters of the omniverse. Because, we are wanting to see the light in everything, and that is allowing us to move beyond. And that takes a lot of strength. So never allow anyone to tell you that being positive is something negative. Because seeing, like being optimistic about what's going on, there is so much negativity, and we don't want to be thrown into this negativity. So even if people in your surroundings are negative or are very fearful about the future, don't allow yourself to be thrown into that negativity, because know that it's already written. Like it's already written in the stars, like all the prophecies, the apocalypse, it's written in all the ancient stories. And that's why I say it's so important to read the ancient stories, because the answers are there, the prophecies are there, and we are here experiencing it. We are here in the midst of it. What a beautiful blessing it is to be alive right now, in this present moment, to be able to see this new birth taking place. I'm getting shivers. It's such a beautiful energy, and it's such an honor to be here. And it's so easy to get thrown into this negativity. It's so easy to see the limitations. But I'm telling you right now that what is happening is that all these limitations are being released. And how do we release them? By looking at them in the eye. So we never want to forget that all this negativity showing up, they are just symptoms. It's just Sekhmet coming in, giving us fever so that we can heal. Bringing in this chaos or this violence a little bit, or this raging energy, so that balance can be restored. And I have to finish like this, because we have the potential for everything, the potential for, we are writing the story, but it has already been written. The earth has already ascended, because everything is following these cycles of source, and we are here to plant these seeds. And we decide when this is happening. We decide, it depends on us when this is happening. It can happen in 1 year. It can happen in many lifetimes. It can happen, it depends on how much we are working together. So the more we work together, the more we share. We use our creative energy towards a shared goal, the sooner this can happen. But again, it has already happened. Earth has already ascended. Heaven on earth is already here. We are just following up, basically. And that's why there is this invitation of moving into the energy of the Fool. Because the Fool doesn't matter what is coming. The Fool doesn't matter if there is danger going towards our goal anyway, because we know that we are source. We know that we come from source. Zero is also source energy, allowing source to flow through us and to create through us, through our actions. And this is what is bringing victory. This is what is allowing us to wear the crown of sovereignty, of divine sovereignty, because we are Sekhmet. We are the sovereigns of the universe. The universe happens through us, and we never want to forget our power. And this darkness has only been here so that we could remember that power. What a beautiful energy. See, this is Sekhmet coming through the fire. I love her. I absolutely love her. Thank you so much for tuning into these messages. Thank you so much for listening, and I really hope you resonated with the messages. And I'm also offering personal readings. So if you would like to have a personal reading, you can always reach out to me. And thank you so much for tuning in again. I'm wishing you a very beautiful day, afternoon, evening, whenever you're tuning in. And thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye. Love you.